Good evening. The Rio Rancho Public Schools Board of Education meeting for Monday, June 5th is now called to order. If all would please arise for the Pledge of Allegiance, Jeff Morgan will lead us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Kim, can you take a roll call for us?
Sure can. President Galbraith.
Present.
Vice President Morgan.
Present.
Secretary Scott.
Present.
Board Member Tripp.
Present.
And Board Member Tyler. You have a quorum 4-0.
Thank you. I'd like to excuse Board Member Tyler. She's not able to be with us tonight. We'd like to welcome everyone out to our board meeting tonight, especially we have a student that will be recognized, and we want to welcome her out, as well as our employee union reps are also here tonight that we'll be talking to here shortly. We also like to welcome, and I know Dr. Cleveland will say all these things here too in just a second, but we have our Student Achievement Award recipients here that we'll be honoring later on tonight. And so we're excited to have them with us, and also everyone from the community that's come out to our meeting tonight. So tonight we will go ahead and start off with some introductory comments by our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Visu Cleveland.
Okay, good evening, and thank you all for being here this evening. We closed out this year with a total of 1,180 high school graduates from Rio Rancho High School, Independence, and Rio Rancho Summer. And I attended all those graduations as the student board, and it's just truly a joyful occasion. Our rates still are staying high, and we are very proud of that graduation rate. It is always wonderful to see our students walk across the stage and to receive their diplomas. It came easier to some than to others, but we were glad every single one of those students made it. Congratulations to all of the graduates, and a special thanks to all of our staff members and our families who supported and helped them get to that point. The conclusion, actually, as we closed out the year, some years are not routine and quiet, but this one was, and we're always very thankful for that. And at the next board meeting, we'll be providing the board with information regarding the summer projects that are currently underway. Certainly, we're now down all of the changes that have happened in the last few years to 2 months summer vacation. We go longer than we did in the past. And so during those 2 months, we have a lot of work that has to be done to our facilities, to our IT infrastructure. A lot of things go on. Hiring is a big thing during the summer. And so our summers stay very, very busy. Again, we certainly missed that loss of those 4 weeks. And so this is just a quick snapshot of some of the graduations. The 2 large comprehensives were at the Rio Rancho Event Center. I counted at the Cleveland 6 seats that were empty, and I counted 12 at Rio Rancho High School that were empty. And so we absolutely, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I turned that off. Please turn off. All right. Sorry. All right. So, but we had a great turnout, and our graduates just behaved so admirably, and it was a dignified and wonderful ceremony. And so congratulations to each one of our graduates this year. It's a lot to celebrate. We have some commendations and this evening, and the 3 individuals that we'll be recognizing, we'll say more about later. That's Jenny Springer Knight and Suzanne Wynn and Richard Draper. And then we have a student that we hope is here this evening, and we will be honoring Ileana Wattis if she is here. So welcome everyone, and we appreciate the opportunity to recognize you and thank you for your good work. As Board Member President Galbraith stated, this is the night we give the Student Achievement Awards. These are New Mexico School Board Association recognitions, and they're given to individuals who have made a significant difference in supporting public education in the Rio Rancho Public School District over an extended period of time.
And so these are, we don't give out very many of these. These are for folks who have really gone above and beyond over many years to help support our district and our students. All right. The student that we're recognizing this evening placed very highly at the International Science and Engineering Fair, the Regeneron, which is better known across the country and internationally as ISIF. And Ileana attended this event and did very, very well. This evening we want to acknowledge her and her achievement. Her teacher, Leah Felty, who is the Cleveland High School AP Chemistry and Science Olympiad sponsor, will share some information with the board and community about this very prestigious event and a little bit about the work that Ileana completed. Again, as I mentioned, Ms. Welty is out of town, but we will be talking with her virtually. And again, congratulations, Ileana, for your really outstanding scholarship and recognition at the international level. So we are delighted that you are here, and I think I see that she is here. All right. We also have the negotiated agreement that will be brought to the board this evening. The administration and the union leadership have been negotiating a contract for the 2023-2024 school year, and they have reached a tentative agreement that is now being presented to the Rio Rancho Board of Education. You've had a copy of that and opportunity to see that before the meeting. You know, whenever it's possible, it's always better, so much better to have a contract in place before the start of a new year. And so they worked very hard to try to make that happen, and we appreciate the hard work of both of the teams. Information regarding this contract will be presented by Mike Chavez, Executive Director of Human Resources, and Billy Heelan, the president of the Rio Rancho School Employees Union. And I also see Gino Sandriana is here. And so Gino, sorry, I did not know you were here, but we're glad you're here. And Gino is here, and Ms. Heelan will be attending virtually. But both the administrative team and the union team will be able to answer any questions that the board members might have regarding this contract. So hopefully you've had a chance to review that. We're really glad to have it done at this point. As you know, in New Mexico, we have an open enrollment statute. It is reflected in our policy 1003. Sherry Carver, the Executive Director of Student Services, will present the proposed changes to Policy 1003. So this is a first reading, and because it's the first reading, no action can be taken by the board, but any input or any clarification or proposed changes can be heard this evening. The open enrollment policies must be compliant with Statute 2214. The primary change this year is that they're asking school districts to ensure that our military families have some additional flexibilities for enrolling their students in the public schools in New Mexico. I'm pleased to tell you we've already done that. We've been doing that for a long time. And so, but we now need to be sure that our policies align with the proposed statutory changes. But we welcome and appreciate our military families, and we have tried to work very closely with them over the years. We have a contract for Bolzano Government Relations this evening. The board is being asked to review and consider approval of a professional services contract for Bolzano Government Relations for Chris for the 2023-2024 school year. The scope of work that's defined in the contract was included in the backup materials, but it will be presented again by Michael Madrid, our purchasing director, and Beth Pendergrass, who of course is our liaison on the administrative team, who is our chief communications strategy and engagement officer, will answer any questions that the board may have on the contract. This is a new contract. This is the start of a new contract for working with Chris. As you know, we have these 3-year contracts, and this is the start of a new one. We are recommending approval of the contract, and we'll stand for any questions. And then last but certainly not least, the board has indicated a desire to have at least one board member on committees for major facility projects. And so President Galbraith has been asked to appoint 3 individuals to the following committees who will soon begin their work. We're ready to start moving on this. The 3 committees are Rio Rancho Cyber, Independence High School, and Rio Rancho High School Safety and Security Upgrades. Mike Baker, Chief Operations Officer, has said it would really be helpful if the cyber and independence, if whoever is appointed to those committees could attend both, because even though they're not on the same campus, they're close, and a lot of things like parking and other things will be influenced by both projects. So we're hoping that whoever is on these committees might be able to attend both sessions for both cyber and for Independence High School. We could get by with one person, but we like to have that board representation. And so if we have 3, that would be better still. But we could make do with 2 if we did not have 3 that could serve. All right. And there is one more, the research and polling. We've had some conversations with the board about getting input on the bonds and being sure that input is heard from across the community. And so most everybody in New Mexico, if you stay very involved with legislative process and municipal and county governments, as well as school districts, are familiar with research and polling. There's, as I said, a very respected and independent polling company, and they will be seeking input on the possible school bond projects from the community at large. For people who might be listening, if you receive a call regarding bond priorities, hope that you will take the call and use this opportunity to provide your input and to weigh in on what your facilities priorities might be for the district. So we're looking to have that out very soon. And we have seen the actual survey, and it looks very good. There were some minor changes that were made in the survey, and they were agreeable to all but one. And so we're about ready to go. Again, we felt like having a truly independent scientific poll would be helpful to you as the board seeks to obtain a better understanding of how the community as a whole feels about certain projects. The one thing I do want to absolutely emphasize, that there's a lot of projects on the list, as the board saw. I want to be very, very clear in saying we can't do all those projects. Our revenue doesn't come close. So we are going to have to prioritize and decide which ones are the most important, put the others kind of on the back burner. Certainly some things can be funded through SB 9, but I don't want people to get the idea that all of the projects, that we have a chance of doing all of them, because we absolutely do not. The needs far exceed the projected bond revenue. Okay, that's all I have.
All right.
If there are any questions, comments?
Any questions from the board?
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cleveland. And just to add, I know your remarks at the beginning, you talked about the graduations, but congratulations again from the board to our
wonderful.
graduates. It's actually so long and so exhausting and so fun to go to each and every one of those. So congratulations to them again. Okay, we'll now go to approve the prioritized agenda and propose time allocations.
This is Secretary Scott. I move approval of the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations.
Board Member Jeff Morgan, I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Noreen Scott and a second by Jeff Morgan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, we now have our public comment this week. So we have 2 ways that we can receive public comment. This week, we did not receive any public comment through our online form, but we do have public comment here in our boardroom. And so everyone can refer to the rules, which are, I don't know if I should say rules, but to our policy on public comment that is in our agenda. But just to put out there, it's 3 minutes that a timer will start as they start speaking. And so we'd like to go ahead and welcome Greg Anderson to the podium. And when he's ready, he'll have 3 minutes. And thanks for being here tonight.
Hello, thanks for your time. I'm Greg Anderson, the proud grandparent of Isabella Anderson at Stapleton elementary school. And her teacher this year was Mrs. Kathleen Tirado, who was an excellent teacher. I wanted to mention that. Okay, this is kind of a touchy subject, but I'm going to get in here anyway. It's about gun safety at schools. Millions of dollars are spent on software, cameras, fencing, and gates. Yes, fencing and gates, believe it or not. Kids sneak guns in school all the time. What's to stop them? Good intentions? Gun laws aren't going to protect kids. Schools are going to protect kids. Schools need improved protection like metal detectors. According to the National Safety and Security Services, metal detectors may be a necessary tool in school districts with a history of chronic weapon issues and related violence such as shootings. And we've been lucky in Rio Rancho. We haven't had any injuries, but we've had guns in schools. According to the Hanover research, installing metal detectors as a form of best practice that allows school management to be confident that it has done all it can to discourage its duty. Installing metal detectors gives students and staff a measure of assurance that the school is safe because every person has to be cleared through the entrance. Detectors also serve as a form of deterrent because visitors to the school know they will be searched and may think twice about carrying a weapon or other dangerous object into the premises. This is a small price to pay for keeping guns out of schools. School safety researchers suggest metal detectors can create long lines to get in or give students a sense of fear. We already know they are used at concerts, sporting events, and government offices, and many kids attend these events too, so they're familiar with metal detectors. Students are already afraid. Detectors can reduce that fear. We need metal detectors in schools today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's our only public comment for the night. And whenever we do public comment, we're unable to respond unless it's on our agenda, but we are grateful when individuals come in to give us public comments. So thank you for that for tonight. We'll now move into our commendations. And so as was announced, we're going to talk about our New Mexico School Board Association Student Achievement Awards and just a little bit about this award. And so, as Dr. Cleveland said, it is sponsored by the New Mexico School Board Association, and it's selected by local boards, and also we receive nominations from our district. And so this year, and it's for those who have done wonderful things for our district and for our students, and it's just a way for us to show our gratitude towards different individuals each year. And so this year we're going to be recognizing Richard Draper, Jeannie Springer Knight, and Suzanne Wynn. And so for tonight, I asked for our first one for Secretary Scott is going to recognize Richard Draper, and we'd like to ask Richard Draper to come on up as we recognize you, if you're able to, and maybe stand up at the microphone and let Noreen talk about you for a few minutes, and then we'll give you an opportunity to
Boy,
speak
there's an
to.
open opportunity.
You've wanted this a long time, haven't you?
It's truly my honor to recognize you for this honor. You have been a strong supporter of our school district for many years. Having worked with you on many bond committees, I know how hard you work. And besides working with Rio Rancho throughout the time at Intel, you continue to support the schools and student learning, continuous service and leadership, and the bond committees, strategic planning, creating a Rio Rancho Public School profile of a graduate, and other items like that. The most interesting thing that you're doing actively right now is, as your role as executive director for the Sandoval Health Collaborative, you have focused efforts on improving health outcomes around children and families with the collaborative signature initiative to promote healthy behaviors in the 10 by 10, 10 things that every child should know about health by the age of 10. And I think that's a very exciting project. In 2021, the 10 by 10 booklets of messages and activities became available in both print and online, age-appropriate editions 1st through 4th grade, and with a 5th grade booklet just released last year. 10 by 10 also includes a parent's health resource guide specific to Sandoval County and tribal communities here. The guide shares helpful tips on navigating the local health system, where to find free and low-cost health resources. You've been a strong supporter of our schools, our families, and the Rio Rancho community, and we're truly proud to have you recognized tonight.
Well, thank you, Noreen, and members of the board. What a great way to start out my summer. Thank you. Thanks to a good example set by my parents. I've always been the community guy. And as a community guy and a newsman in about 4 different states and many different cities, the one observation that has stayed with me all these many years, strong communities have strong school districts, strongly supported by their communities. And since, what has it been now, Dr. Cleveland, 29 years, I think 1994, isn't that when we got this show going? We have strongly supported this district. And it's been my pleasure and privilege and my good fortune to have been here since day one of the formation of this, to work with a great Intel public affairs team in the mid-90s to give a little boost when the district needed it. Proud to be part of that effort. And again, it's a privilege and a pleasure to keep playing a tiny role. There's so many people that do so much for this district, but it's been a privilege to play a small role to support the community and the school district. And we have a mill levy election coming up, so I ain't done yet. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you get one? Good. Good.
Okay, for our next Student Achievement Award, we have Jeannie Springer. If Ms. Springer wouldn't mind coming up, and I've asked Dr. Cleveland if she would be so kind to talk about Ms. Springer.
We're delighted to have Jeannie Springer with us this evening. Jeannie has been a true champion of students and the Rio Rancho Public School District throughout her work in the community and participation in various organizations. She has always looked for ways to provide students with opportunities to connect with industry, business, and civic leaders. One example a few years ago was she worked with our district to help establish a job shadowing program with NAIOP. And most of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with NAIOP. And these people in the business community certainly are, but it's a commercial real estate development association that Jeannie's been very active with. The goals of the program were to create opportunities for students to experience work within a career field, and to really push our students, motivate our students to set higher educational and career goals for themselves. Not only did this effort help students make a connection between their educational goals and their career goals, but it helped our students to begin to build relationships with key professionals in the New Mexico workforce in our state. Because of the multiple partnerships Jeannie established through her work in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, we were able to identify a number of business and community leaders who were willing to participate and work with our students. This program was a great opportunity for students, and this is just one of many examples of her commitment to Rio Rancho students and her efforts to provide opportunities for them to make those connections that help provide students with an opportunity of staying here in our community and state if they want to. And we've had so many conversations about how do we keep our kids here? Why at least give an opportunity where if they want to stay here, they have the opportunity to do that. And so this was an important step in offering our students that option. The other thing we talk a lot about are relationships. And Jeannie has been so strong in building relationships across our state, and not only building relationships, but if there was a job that needed to get done, Jeannie was the one, if you asked her to do it, you knew it would get done and it would get done well. She's participated in many of our committees, and she has a passion for CTE and DECA. And because of her work, our students have had the opportunity to actually go and attend NAOP meetings. And I've been at a few of them, and our students have had such a wonderful opportunity, and they shine. And they come back so excited about people they've met. Last year, one of our students came back with 3 job offers, and she was pretty excited about that. But Jeannie has helped connect DECA to businesses as well, and actually did some work in fundraising for the DECA program. She's an advocate for students, and she understands the importance of creating that pipeline so that we don't just wish our students will stay, we don't just wish our students will get the right credentials, but we have a plan in place to ensure that happens. So she's been a wonderful partner and supporter of our district, and she embodies what it means to ignite student potential. And we appreciate Jeannie being here and an opportunity to say to her how much we appreciate her work and her support of our kids over many years.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Dr. Cleveland and board. This is such a special moment. I had to go back and look at Beth's email and say, what is this award and how on earth did I get it? But I appreciate your comments tonight. They mean the world to me. I'm a commercial real estate developer, as many of you know, and came to Rio Rancho some 14, 15 years ago and just fell in love with this city. I tell you, there's no better place to find friends, to find colleagues, and to get things done. People show up, we have common goals, and it's been a phenomenal experience to be part of this community. But I think we all know the cornerstone of what makes Rio Rancho great, one of probably 2 or 3, is the school system, without a doubt. It's how we've launched so many projects, as we always lead with the best school education system in the state for a public school system. And having a chance to get to know so many of you, work with Dr. Cleveland, of course, over the years, has just been a sheer joy. 2 things that I wanted to share quickly that come to my mind. One was I got pulled in, I don't know, kind of at the last minute. You all were doing videos of memories of special teachers. Do you guys remember that? Yeah. You wanted to share that with your staff, right? And I just got pulled in at the last minute to participate in that. And I remember, there was just this one teacher that just meant the world to me. She changed my life, right? And you just sometimes forget about that. And having that opportunity to be part of that video session and share my memories of that one teacher just brought home again the importance over and over again that teachers play in all of our development. She saw things in me as a 6th grader and just created a whole new me, really, when I was just, 10 years old. So that was very special. And then you talk about the DECA kids. And I had the great fortune of working with a couple of the DECA leaders and wound up visiting with one individual in particular, and because she was a DECA student. And I had lunch or breakfast with her or something, and I wish I remembered her name. I feel terrible. But she showed me her business plan. She just blew me away. This was a high school business plan on this opportunity that she was creating for how she wanted to grow or achieve, her career. And I just thought, man, what a high caliber of students we have here in Rio Rancho. So I'll just leave you with, I'm sort of in an interim period in my life where I'm trying to just close some of my land deals. But I've told Beth, Rio Rancho Public Schools lives in my heart, and I hope I can come back and still try to contribute in some way down the road. So hopefully you'll see me again. But thank you so much for this award. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, and our last but certainly not least, I am happy and excited to take on our last one. If Suzanne Wynn would be willing to come on up to our podium. Suzanne, to me, is just one of those people. When I see her, I just think kindness and good. She's just sweet and wonderful, and she's intentional in the things that she does. And she has been such an advocate for our school district and for our students. And so, we're truly, truly grateful for everything that she's done for us. I have this little thing that I'm going to read about you that will say even more. That I can't even explain all the wonderful things she's done for us. And so. Suzanne, she's been instrumental in improving the reading and math proficiency of our EL and Native American students. Under her leadership, the PED has recognized the quality of our bilingual and Native American programs. Ms. Nguyen has developed strong partnerships with parents and supported schools in engaging parents in their child's education. She works collaboratively with principals and teachers to effectively utilize Title I funding to improve student outcomes for students in poverty. Ms. Nguyen believes in high expectations for all students, no matter their background, and works tirelessly to ensure that each and every student receives a quality education. Ms. Nguyen has enthusiastically taken on many responsibilities over the past several years that have made positive difference. Among these are coordinating the District Equity Council, writing and managing the $24.5 million ESSER federal grant, and completing the Cognia System Accreditation Review narrative report that was used as an anchor document for the successful Cognia team visit accreditation. These efforts were in addition to all of her other duties that she has. And I always feel like Suzanne somehow is like incorporated in all of these different things we see your name attached to. But Ms. Nguyen has been an outstanding leader and critical member of our curriculum and instruction department team and is held in high regard by her colleagues. So we want to once again thank her for all that she's done for us.
Thank you. I really don't have much to say other than it is truly humbling and I'm grateful. And it's such a pleasure and distinct privilege to work for the school district and communities. Thank you again.
Thank you. And then if we could get our other two, if you guys will come back up to this one, we'll get a picture of all three of you. And I'll give you the little plastic covering that actually goes over your things if you want to take that home with you.
I think that has some boxes too.
Okay.
Do that a little bit. You look like you have a light growing out of your head. That's great. Thank you.
Madam President, can I make a comment? It's how great that Richard and Jeannie, congratulations. I did want to just mention that I just attended the law conference in the state of New Mexico, and there was a great session on inequalities of Native American education in the history of our country. 3 attorneys, one that has served with 3 presidents in trying to improve the public education for our Native American children. After the meeting, I was able to sit down at lunch with the Gallup School Board. And the Gallup School Board said, one of the members said they sent a letter specifically about Suzanne Nguyen, our federal programs director. She was guessing she didn't have the letter in front of her. And also the Cleveland High School teacher, Native American teacher, and said, if there's one urban school district in our state that's doing an excellent job for our Native American children and trying to offer them a great public education. She mentioned this, Suzanne. She said, all children are sacred. They have a gift to offer. And I hope I shared that in my letter, that I really felt that the Rio Rancho Public School for an urban, for a school board in an urban area was doing an outstanding job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else from the board? Go ahead, Dr. Cleveland.
Thank you, Board Member Tripp. And just for the community, I think certainly within the district, people are aware of. We have 2,000 students who claim Native heritage. We have close to 1,000 who have the full certifications that are recognized by the federal government. And then the others generally have a grandparent or one parent who is Native American. But they have truly been an asset to our district, and we have so enjoyed having them in our district. But that wouldn't occur if we didn't have good relationships that Suzanne built over a long period of time with families and the communities. And so it is an honor to have their children, and we strive very hard to do a good job. We have our student performance for our Native American children have generally stayed very, very close to all children in our district. And it dropped a little bit during COVID, but hopefully it's moving back up. But we always look at different groups of kids and see, are there any individuals in groups that are not doing as well as others? And in our state, that's often our Native American kids. But that is not the case in Rio Rancho. And much of that credit goes to Suzanne Wynn and to our principals and teachers who really strive to meet the needs of all of our students, including our Native American students. The other area that she works in with a lot is our English learners students. And there's some pretty new aggressive standards for that are coming up. So we have our work cut out for us there. But again, Suzanne, thank you so much for all that you do for our district and our community.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for all those wonderful comments. So now we get to go to our next commendation, which is the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair,
Right.
National Placement and Special Awards. So we have Ileana Juarez from Cleveland High School. If you want to come on up, and then your teacher, Miss Felty, is online
She's online.
tonight, and so you can come on up to the podium. I know it usually feels weird because usually we put the teacher there first, and but she's online, and hopefully you can see and hear her voice here in just a moment. We'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Miss Felty.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can. You're perfect.
My name is Leah Felty, and I am the AP chemistry teacher, Science Expo sponsor, and Science Olympiad coach at VSU Cleveland High School. It is with great pleasure and incredible pride that I get to recognize Eliana for her achievements this year at the International Science and Engineering Fair and elsewhere. Eliana has one of the most brilliant minds I've ever had the privilege of teaching. She is always pursuing opportunities that challenge her academically and to network with others. She has made significant contributions to the STEM field over the past 4 years with her air quality research, which includes creating a short-term ozone forecast to predict future ozone concentrations, using physical models to create long-term policy recommendations, and creating a nationwide model to estimate particulate matter in regions without developed ground stations. Eliana has brought awareness to air quality issues in underrepresented areas such as India and Mexico with her original research that she has conducted and published. This year, Eliana wrote a scientific paper and presented her research, an integrated approach for immediate and long-term air quality regulation and monitoring in Mexico to the DoD-sponsored Junior Science and Humanities Symposium, JSHS, and this year's research addressing disparities in air quality monitoring using machine learning and remote sensing to estimate distribution of particulate matter 2.5 in Mexico. And that was at a regional research challenge fair at UNM. Eliana placed first in the Southwest region for JSHS in both 2021 and 2023, and advanced to the national JSHS competition in Virginia Beach as an oral presenter this year. In 2021, she placed second in the nation in environmental science. Eliana also placed first in the environmental science category at the Regional Research Challenge at UNM and advanced as one of the top 4 students, including George Privet from Rio Rancho High School, to ISEF in Dallas. This is the second year in a row that Eliana placed third internationally for her environmental research and her third year as an ISEF finalist. Not only did she place third internationally this year, where students from all over the world from 64 different countries competed, Eliana also won special awards for her research, including the USA 2023 Science for Development third place award in climate and environmental protection, and an all-expense paid trip to Trento, Italy for 3 weeks this summer to work on her air quality monitoring using sensoring and machine learning. Last year, she won the first place award from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. Last summer, Eliana was a Research Science Institute scholar and completed a 6-week research internship at MIT. This last school year, she conducted research with Harvard's Atmospheric Chemistry group under a paid internship with LANL. Eliana's passion for her research and the STEM field is evident in all that she does, and she encourages others to get involved in science clubs and competitions. Eliana has been a member of the Science Olympiad Club for all 4 years at her high school career, where she has won multiple medals and helped our team place third overall at the regional science competition this year. She placed third in the New Mexico Supercomputing Challenge in 2021 and also competed and won at the Governor's STEM Challenge for all 4 years as a member and president of the Storming STEM Club under Mrs. Ashley Knoll, who was a huge impact on her and helped inspire her STEM passion since her freshman year. Eliana was the recipient of the 2023 Science Department Award at VSU Cleveland High School, a National Merit Finalist, and Presidential Scholar candidate. Eliana was accepted early admission to Harvard, but will be attending MIT in the fall and will major in Climate Systems Sciences and Engineering, which is a brand new Bachelor of Science degree that is jointly offered by the Departments of Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Wow.
I think you could say all of us are impressed. That is amazing. Would you like to say a few words? You do not have to if you don't want to. But we'd love to hear from you, just any of your thoughts or some of the things you have upcoming. And
Yeah, well, just thank you so much. I mean, the last time I was here was in middle school, and if I'd have had any idea what I would be, I completely switched tracks. I was first in like spelling bee stuff, and then I was in speech and debate for a little bit, but I really found what I want to do in the future with, my research in atmospheric chemistry. I really, really am thankful to the district and my school for just having, the science fair was huge in my discovering of what I wanted to do. And I think that, our regional fair, with the district, but also the Central New Mexico one is seriously one of the best in the country. I've had a lot of experience talking to people from other areas, and just the support that we get at the regional level here is just absolutely amazing. And so, just thank you again. And I hope to keep in touch with other students. I'm already sort of, and actually one student, Chella, she's in my STEM club, and I've always been sort of helping her out throughout the years, but I'm really excited that she will also be attending a summer program. It's different than the one I did, but still really amazing at MIT, and it's a free 6-week program as well. And so hopefully I'll see her, soon. But I just want to let you guys know that our science group here is really, really strong, and I'm very grateful for all the support. So yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much again for coming in. It's always wonderful to have students. And I have to say, so this year I had the opportunity to attend the science fair that we have with our high schools and our schools. And it was really, really neat. And I also went to the state fair one, but I was amazed at the projects that our students brought forth. And so I'm grateful through all of her achievements that we're able to highlight some of those things. So anything else?
I just again want to say thank you for coming and letting us
tell you how very proud we are for you and for the hard work that you have done, and really hope you will stay in touch. And we hope that you will let us know how you're doing. But this is such a phenomenal award and such a phenomenal recognition. I also want to thank her teacher, who Felty, who is here to speak this evening, because a lot of that support and encouragement comes from those teachers as well. And but the work is that of the students, and so we're just so proud for you. But again, congratulations. This is at an international level. It's just amazing.
Thank you. May I mention one thing? And Eliana touched on it, but she is the only Rio Rancho student to ever represent New Mexico with the National Spelling Bee. And you also ran track or cross country? I mean, very accomplished, and we're very proud of you. Best of luck in your future.
Yeah, thank you. You can always
It's
come
not
back.
always you have skills in both those areas.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
That's
It
true.
really is. So,
No, that's
okay.
true. That's wonderful. So thank you for coming in. I'm always so sad to leave commendations, as everyone knows. But we'll now move to our next item, which is to approve our consent agenda. Do we have a
I
motion?
have a question.
Sure.
Just before we approve it, is that okay?
Mhm.
All right. I was just curious. I mean, just a comment more than anything is just a concern about the Amazon. There's 6 pages of Amazon payments and bills. So just want to make sure we're stressing local business and trying to do our best to follow within all the procurement. I know we are, but I just want to make sure that we're reaching out locally as much as possible. And with that, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Board Member Jeff Morgan, I second.
Thank you. Thank you for the motion. Thanks for the comment. So we have a motion by Gary Tripp and a second by Jeff Morgan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Go ahead.
I would like to thank Gary for bringing that up, because it is a thought near and dear to my heart, and it concerns me that we go out to the business community continually requesting support for this school district, and we're not buying local when maybe we could. And I just ask that we please put that on the forefront.
Thank you.
We will develop a plan to address that and come back with you, kind of what our plan might look like to do that.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, moving into business, we'll start with item A, to consider the approval of the 2023-2024 negotiated agreement between Rio Rancho Public Schools Board of Education and the Rio Rancho School Employees Union. Tonight, we have Mike Chavez, our Executive Director of Human Resources, and also Billy Helene, our President, who's joining us virtually right now. I'm waving from here. And also Gino is here in attendance as well. And so we'll go ahead and hand it over to, you're welcome to come up, Gino.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Cleveland, members of the board. It is our distinct pleasure this evening to report to you that over the past several months, we have had the pleasure of negotiating with the Rio Rancho School Employees Union the 2023-2024 negotiated agreement. We have a very strong relationship with the Rio Rancho School Employees Union, and we had a very positive process through these negotiations. These negotiations, we actually had fairly minimal changes to the contract, and I'm going to throw Claudia for a little bit of a loop, because I actually found one more, Claudia, that I want to start with. So if you can actually scroll back to page 16, if you wouldn't mind. There are 3 passages in here that we'd like to highlight. I will mention that this new contract has been ratified by the bargaining unit members of the Rio Rancho School Employees Union, and I'm sure Billy and Gino will talk to that a little bit more in a moment. But there are 3 main points that I would like to highlight that I felt were very, very beneficial to the bargaining unit members as well as, our staff here in Rio Rancho Public Schools. So on page 16, as you know, we eliminated this year early release on Wednesdays, and therefore it was necessary for us to take a hard look at how preparatory time was being handled at the elementary schools. So if you look here, C on this page already spoke about high school and middle school licensed employees being assigned preparation, collaboration, and planning time equivalent to at least one period per day. And what we did is we essentially took that language, emulated it for the elementary school, and spoke about the fact that all elementary school teachers would also receive 180 minutes per week, and that schedule would be released to those teachers at the start of the school year. And the cabinet and the district have provided for every elementary school 2 additional teachers to go into that related arts rotation, so that goal can be met. And I want to step back for just one moment, and I would like to introduce the members of our team that did these negotiations. Peggy Johnston, our director in HR, and Marisa de Aragon, who isn't here tonight, also our director, and then also Janice Chenault, the elementary school improvement officer, and Renee Saucedo, the secondary school improvement officer. And then in a moment, I'll allow Gino and Billy to introduce their members on their negotiating team. So that was the first major change that we made. If we scroll down to page 25 and we take a look at number 9, we're introducing a pilot program this year that has to do with folks using their sick leave and being able to sell back some of that sick leave and their personal leave to the district at the end of the year. And what this says is that RRPS employees who use 3 or fewer sick days during the full contract year will be permitted to request payment for 3 days of sick leave, if available, at the rate of $300 per sick day, and 2 personal days, if available, at the rate of $300 per personal day. RRPS employees who use 4 to 6 sick days during a full contract year will be permitted to request payment for 2 days of sick leave, if available, at the rate of $300 per sick day, and 2 personal days, if available, at the rate of $300 per personal day. And that is new language in the negotiated agreement, in the contract. So that's an incentive for our employees, and I think it's a rather nice incentive. And I believe that the union agreed. And then finally, what I'd like to share with you are the raises that we agreed upon for this year for bargaining unit members in our district. So we're going to move down to page 28, and we're going to take a look at Article 34 salaries. Educational assistants, as you know, legislation approved and mandated, in fact, a $25,000 minimum for educational assistants. Here's what we agreed upon as a district with the union. Educational assistants shall be compensated as follows for the 2023-2024 school year. Tier 1 educational assistants, who would be the general education and kindergarten educational assistants, shall be compensated at $25,000 annually. Tier 2 educational assistants, those performing acute care duties with students in the classroom, shall be compensated at $27,500 annually. Tier 3 educational assistants, those working in either a social communications classroom or a district-approved behavioral program, shall be compensated at $30,000 annually. Tier 3 educational assistants will be required to attend ongoing professional development and will be compensated for that additional after-hours training at their hourly rate. Secretary clerical staff, to include all secretaries, registrars, attendance clerks, receptionists, data specialists, and bookroom clerks, shall be compensated as follows for the 2023-24 school year. And let me preface this by saying, on average, this is a 25% raise. So we wanted to, the district worked very hard to try to keep things equitable amongst the employees in that $15 range, which was what was set last year. As the state has moved educational assistance up to the $25,000 range, one of the requests from the union was that we also take a very hard look at the secretary clerical staff in this district. 195-day calendar employees shall be compensated at $29,328 annually. 213-day calendar employees shall be compensated at $32,035 annually. 218-day calendar employees shall be compensated at $32,787 annually. 223-day calendar employees shall be compensated at $33,539 annually. 240-day calendar employees should be compensated at $36,096 annually. So that would be for all secretary clerical staff. Then custodial staff, maintenance staff, bus drivers, and bus attendants shall receive a 10% raise above their current annual base salary for the 2023-2024 school year. So that would be a 10% raise across the board compared to what they're earning currently. All licensed instructional and professional staff currently on a level 1, 2, or 3 licensed instructional and professional staff salary schedule shall receive a 6% raise above their current annual base salary for the 2023-2024 school year. And finally, security aides, CODAs, ASLs, and AA nurses shall receive a 6% raise above their current annual base salary. And again, that's all new language for salaries. And I'm going to allow Gino or Billy to go ahead and make their comments, and then I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Mike. So first and foremost, Madam President, Dr. Cleveland, board members, I want to offer my deepest gratitude to the negotiating team and the leadership team with Rio Rancho Public Schools. As Mike said, I wanted to emphasize the work that we do together. When we collaborate, we can do so much more for our kids and for our staff than if we try to do things with contention behind it. And the district really went to great lengths to make sure that we improved conditions for staff members. And that, of course, ultimately reflects on how we're doing for our students. And so our mission in Rio Rancho School Employees Union is, yes, we want to support our staff, but by supporting our staff, we're also supporting our students. And so I'm really excited about these things that Mike already mentioned. We have some other things that we passed in this too with our ratification. It was ratified with a 98.8% support, which I thought was really exciting. And so I'm really pleased that we're able to do some things that help our staff. And I won't add anything to the things that Mike has already mentioned, just because he did such a phenomenal job of covering it. I don't have anything to add. Gino, how about you? Do you have anything that you'd like to mention?
Is it on? Yeah. I just want to echo what Billy and Mike both said. The collaboration that we have with the district and the union is phenomenal. I mean, I've been here since for the last 11, 12 years, and the last 5 or 6 years to be able to come to you all and to get something ratified before the next school year is phenomenal. I do want to also state that this contract, we concentrated on our paraprofessionals. They're our frontline staff. Everybody, it takes, what's the saying about having the village? You know, I always lose that, but it's really important that our paras are really recognized, because they truly are really, really passionate about what they do. And sometimes, you know, that feeling of not the worth is detrimental to somebody that is in that position. And I think us concentrating on this in the district, also coming together and collaborating with this is really going to pay dividends with our paraprofessionals. And I think we're going to get some, we already have quality paraprofessionals, but it's going to be a great thing for the district to be able to get more of those paraprofessionals coming in because they want to work at Rio Rancho Public Schools. And I say this all the time. It's the best school district by far in the state, if not the top 5 in the Southwest and top 5 in the country. And so when you preach that and we're able to show these kind of things and put it on paper and put our money where our mouth is at, I thank you all for helping us out with this.
Thank you.
So I'll stand for questions.
Okay. Dr. Cleveland, did you want to add anything as well?
I would just add what I said earlier. I echo what Gino has said. It sets a really positive tone to start the year with the contract in place. Everybody knows what what the rules are and what we've all agreed upon, and it just starts the year off right. And so, thanks to the entire team, the union and the administration for working through and getting us this point at this time of the year, because I think it will set the stage for a really good year. The other comment, I would just simply remind the board that last year, through the work of the New Mexico legislature, we had some other categories of employees who got quite a bit more on percentage. So there was a really cognizant effort to try to even that out a little bit, and really appreciative for the hard work that was done at looking at some of the other very important support positions. And I agree, everybody takes everybody to make the district work. Everybody is part of the success of our students. And so this is looked at all of our employees across the district, and I think that's a really sound and positive approach. So thanks to the committee, and it is a good contract, and we'll continue to work forward to do what's most important. One of the things I've said is, obviously we're all here for students, and that is the focus, and that's been the focus in the discussions. But the best thing you give your students is a highly qualified teacher and other support people who make it work for them. And so those two are not separated. They're not two separate things. They all go together. And so thank you for the focus on improving teaching and learning in our district and on our students and staff, because it takes us all together to make a strong district.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Cleveland. Noreen Scott, questions or comments?
I would just like to thank you all for the hard work that you've done. We, as Ms. Aline said, have kept students in the forefront, and I think that's what makes this school district such a success. Everybody wants our kids to succeed, and when we do that as a team, it really takes a lot of the vitriol out of it. And when I look back over the last 3.5 years that I've served on this school board, it's been a wild ride. And Ms. Aline, I really, really am grateful to you for getting us through the pandemic and working, the union working together with us. It's been a real gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Tripp?
I just wanted to say to all the people that Mike mentioned in detail, we appreciate you. And I want to say to the union and to the administrative team, I appreciate you very much. Thank you. This is great. Just one favor, and it's kind of to Mike, is if we could have some reports about how the paying teachers for not using their sick leave, if that helps us, if we can come back and kind of just review it. But do want to just say my appreciation. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want to say thanks to the team for all your hard work. Greatly appreciate it.
And Dr. Cleveland, you have?
Just one other thing I would have liked to have said, and it's really important, I think, to say, but many of the things that have been negotiated did originate with board. And the board asking us to look into that, incentives for people who had really good attendance, or looking at our educational assistants and could we do more. So I just also want to be sure to recognize the board their desire to see those things happen as well, and made those very clear in terms of things they hope that we could look at and study. So thank you for your hard work as well.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to echo all those same sentiments. I mean, honestly, we're just hearing such wonderful, positive things. And I think that that's a great thing. It shows that we do have a really good relationship with each other. And that is what makes Rio Rancho Public Schools so successful. And so thank you for all the hard work. I know it takes a lot of time and energy to go through that. And just like Gary Tripp was saying, I'm really excited to hear more about how the sick leave goes. I've received some emails through the years about that. And so I'm really excited to see how that all turns out and such. So with that, we have a motion from the board on this.
I move approval of the negotiated agreement between the Rio Rancho Board of Education and the Rio Rancho School Employees Union.
Gary Tripp, I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Noreen Scott and a second by Gary Tripp. And Kim, can you take a roll call vote for us?
Vice President Morgan.
Yes.
Secretary Scott.
Yes.
Board Member Tripp.
Yes.
And President Galbraith.
Yes.
The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
And President Galbraith, I believe you have a signature page
Yes.
that Ms. Vesely will share with you. And then we'll get that over to Ms. Heelan. And then Ms. Vesely will get that back to me. And thank you, board, very much for your support, as always, in these endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And that will need the whole board's signatures on it tonight. So thank you. I have a whole stack of things to go through. All right. For our next item, it's our first reading of proposed changes to policy 1003, open enrollment. Sherry Carver, our Executive Director of Student Services, will present this.
Good evening, President Galbraith, members of the board, and Dr. Cleveland. Tonight, I am bringing to you the first reading of an addition to our school board policy 1003. Open enrollment is the title of that policy. The changes that you see on the screen in red comply with the requirements of Senate Bill 120, which passed in the last legislative session. The bill states that basically any military family who anticipates moving to an attendance area may enroll in schools in that attendance area prior to establishing a residence. And we have some of this language in the policy in number H, but this just clearly states for everyone that it's open enrollment for and flexibility for children of military families prior to establishing residency in our district. It states it very clearly with this addition, and it also complies with the Senate bill. So that's what I'm presenting to you tonight. The rest of the policy does not change.
Okay. Any questions from the board on this or comments?
We've been doing this quite a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's great. Well, and we have wonderful military families that kind of
we do.
through the years.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity.
We are
to-
very flexible with our
those, so,
military families.
Yeah, we're grateful to them. So thank you so much. And next week we'll vote on this. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank
Or
you.
not next week. We're not coming in. Couple more weeks. Okay. All right. Our next will be consider the approval of Balzano Government Relations Professional Services Contract. We have Michael Madrid, our Purchasing Director, Beth Pendergrass, our Chief Communications Officer, and also I know Chris Balzano's in the room too. So we'll go ahead and send it over to you.
Board President Galbraith, Superintendent Dr. Cleveland, members of the board. As Dr. Cleveland mentioned in her earlier comments, this is a professional services contract between Balzano Government Relations and Rio Rancho Public Schools. I'd like to just highlight the procurement methods and the statutory requirements that we've complied with to ensure that this contract can be pushed forward for review and approval by the board. The dollar spend for this contract falls under the small purchase statute 13-1-125. So under that statute for professional services, if the spend is less than $60,000, you can entertain a single quote and generate a contract based off of that. In addition to that small purchase statute, state statute 13-1-76 provides a definition for professional services. That is a little difficult to comprehend sometimes. So in addition to that, the General Services Division of the State Purchasing issued a determination and identified a list of professional services, and lobbyist services falls under that threshold. So the procurement method, once again, is State Statute 13-1-125, small purchases. The attached contract identifies a detailed scope of work. This is the same scope of work that we've used at least for last year, and is pretty consistent with the services the district has received. It also identifies terms and conditions, pricing, points of contact. And with that, I'll turn it over to Beth, see if she has any additional comments.
Thank you. Good evening, President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, and members of the board. It's an honor to be here tonight and request the approval of Chris's contract. In April, I stood here and I presented to the board a legislative update, and we had a really successful year. And a lot of that, certainly I have to thank Lauren and David, but really, we couldn't do it without Chris. He's really established himself in Santa Fe and made those connections with state leaders and with legislators to really help us move the ball in some really important areas. We saw more movement on transportation this year than we've seen in a long time. And so we really feel like we found our groove working together in the district team and with Bolzano Government Relations. And so we are requesting that the board approve the contract this evening. But as Michael said, it is the same scope, and the contract remains the same with a slight adjustment in the cost. It's $5,000. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have questions from the board? Any questions or comments from the board? Dr. Cleveland, anything?
I would just reiterate what Beth has said about this was a hard session. We were facing a couple of times really, really frightening scenarios. I mean, could have been significantly harmful to our district. And Chris just stayed the course and worked it through and kept track of those things. And it was a good year for us financially, and that would not have happened without some really strong effort on his part. And of course, the part of our legislative delegation as well as the other team members here in our district. But certainly Chris had a really key role to play, and we're very appreciative of that role.
Thank you so much.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Bolzano Government Relations Professional Service Contract.
Board Member Jeff Morgan, I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gary Tripp and a second by Jeff Morgan. And Kim, can you take a roll call vote for us, please?
Vice President Morgan,
Yes.
Secretary Scott,
Yes.
Board Member Tripp,
Yes.
President Galbraith.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Honestly, Chris has always been, since I've been on the board, he's always been great at just getting us to the right people at the right time and in the right places. And so I'm just so grateful for all that he's done for us. And is always somehow, I know he's so busy, and somehow when we're up in Santa Fe, he's always there to kind of take a moment to show us around and help us. So thank you so much for everything you've done for us. So thank you so much. Okay, for our last, make sure I'm on the right one. Yes. Okay, for our last item of business, it's the appointment of members of the faculty committees for Independence High School, Rio Rancho Cyber Academy, and Rio Rancho High School safety and security upgrades. And so we can go ahead and take a moment to discuss these and ask any questions about this. I know, Noreen, go ahead. You have some.
Well, since I was the one that asked to have something like this put together, I'm grateful. And I will volunteer to do the Independence High School facility team.
Okay, so Noreen Scott. So let me ask you, so Dr. Cleveland, you went, so when it comes, so Noreen Scott for Independence, and you would really like that person to also work with cyber.
Right, because the buildings will be very close and they will share some facility parking lots like we anticipate.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
would be asking to make the commitment for both.
Okay.
That's good.
And then do you want more than one board member to sit on each of these, or is one sufficient, or what are
One
you
is
hoping?
sufficient, but we welcome any who have an interest. So
Okay.
it just can't be 3, of course, because we'd have a quorum. But anybody who would like to serve, we very much appreciate your input, and So we can either do 3 or 2. It's just whatever the board wants to do.
3 or 2, like 3 board members? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, we could have like
Oh,
one for
3.
independence
Okay,
and one for
okay.
cyber, or we could have one person
Okay.
share that responsibility, and
Okay.
that would work. But then we obviously need a separate one for
Perfect.
Rio
Okay.
Rancho High.
So Noreen Scott for that. And then I was looking at the Rio Rancho, the safety and security. I think Gary Tripp, that might be a wonderful place for you to serve. And if
Certainly
you,
raise that issue a lot.
yeah, and we can have more than one. So
Well, I'll join the ring.
you want to join Noreen? Okay.
That's great.
Okay, that's perfect. So I have Noreen for and Jeff for independence and cyber, and I think that's a good one to have 2 on. And then and I'll talk to. I'm going to talk with Jessica with board member Tyler just to see, she might have interest in being on that Rio Rancho one as well. And so that gives us at least 1 board member on each of those. So, and Gary Tripp for our Rio Rancho one. So any other questions or comments about this or about the committees specifically that you might have?
I would just like to say thank you for taking this suggestion and running with it. We really appreciate that.
So it's good. Okay. All right. So thank you on those. Anything else from you, Dr. Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go into our advanced planning. So June 26th will be an audit committee meeting at 4 in the training center. Also on the 26th will be a regular board meeting here in the boardroom at 5:30. July 10th, a regular board meeting at 5:30 here. Then July 13th through the 15th, we need to get registered for this with the NMSBA Leadership Retreat. This year, it's in a different location. It's in Cloudcroft, New Mexico. Are there any who are planning to attend?
I may go. I don't need to check my calendar a little better, but
Okay.
anybody else?
Anyone else?
I gotta check my calendar.
Okay. I'm planning to go. I go out of town the next weekend, but I'm going to plan to go too, Kim. So you can sign me up for that. And then we need to get hotels and such for that, I believe, too. So, okay. And then we have July 23rd, another audit committee meeting at 4, the 23rd, a regular board meeting. On the 31st, which is crazy that this is already on here, our teachers and our school staff report for the 23-24 school year. And then August 3rd will be the first day of school. The whole summer just went before my eyes and just reading those in 1 minute. Let's see. Yes.
We also have July 20th is summer school graduation.
Oh, that's right, for independence, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So if any board members are able to make that, yeah, thank you for putting that on there. And Kim, can you add that to the board's calendar, the independence graduation?
Yes, we'll
Yeah, we'll do that next meeting. It came in after the agenda was already published, so.
Okay. Anything else on calendaring events that we need to go over?
Is that graduation going to be here?
It is usually in here, yes, here in the boardroom. So, and those are always great ones. Okay, so we'll now consider a motion to convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the board and superintendent to discuss the superintendent end of year 2022-23 evaluation.
Gary Tripp, so moved.
Noreen Scott, second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gary Tripp and a second by Noreen Scott. And Kim, can you take a roll call vote for us on this, please?
Vice President Morgan?
Yes.
Secretary Scott?
Yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
And President Galbraith?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you. So we will now adjourn into our executive session. Thank you.
I'm gonna go in and grab something to eat and then I'll come out.
Yeah, and do you want me to just call you and we'll
Yeah,
take a second?
yeah, just call me.
I'm gonna grab any of the board needs to. I'm gonna bring all that paperwork.
That's fine. And I'm gonna keep it around because obviously we have to.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Just what you need, another meeting.
That's all right. That's all right. Maybe we can alternate.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's the reason why I joined. It's like,
Yeah.
maybe there are some I could make to where I would tell her, hey, don't worry about it this time.
Okay, you tell me, Kim, when we're ready.
Okay, stand by. Are you there, John? In 10, 9, 8.
Okay, our meeting is called back to order from our executive session, and we have a report. The Rancho Public Schools Board of Education held a closed executive session as permitted under Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. The matters discussed in the closed meeting were limited only to those specified in the motion to close the meeting. And then our next is to consider the approval of the completed end of year 2022-2023 evaluation of the superintendent as completed by the Board of Education in executive session. We have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make it. This is Board Member Jeff Morgan. I make a motion for approval of the completed end of year 2022-2023 evaluation of the superintendent as completed by the Board of Education in the executive session.
Board Member Gary Tripp, second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Jeff Morgan and a second by Gary Tripp. And Kim, can you take a roll call vote for us, please?
Vice President Morgan?
Yes.
Secretary Scott?
With great pleasure, yes.
Board Member Tripp?
Yes.
And President Galbraith?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you so much. Any last things on?
Yes, I would
anything?
like to go on record thanking Dr. Cleveland for her excellent service, for getting us through COVID, for continuing to work so hard to keep our school district where it is today, and very grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Could that be echoed by every board member? Yeah.
Thank you.
I would echo that from every board member. Thank you, Ms. Noreen, and thank you, Dr. Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Cleveland. You've done a great job. We appreciate you. So
Thank you all. I appreciate the board's feedback, and we'll work on those areas that you've identified are priorities for the board. And we'll be back with a plan on some of those areas. So thank you for your feedback.
all right, thank you so much. Okay, so with that, our meeting tonight's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.